All right, it's good to be back with you again, and I am continuing with my Davis Dialog Prep Series, Part 2. I've been meaning to get back to this, but I felt the need to do my Gospel in Shadow and Substance series before this. So, just to explain what this series is basically presenting a PowerPoint presentation that I did when preparing to talk with Dr. Alan Davis, and I had meant to really flesh out some of the points that I was touching upon in that dialogue, and so that's what this series is. So I'm basically showing you the PowerPoint I put together when I was preparing for that talk with him, but obviously I wanted the talk to flow. I didn't want to, just be going over a PowerPoint. I didn't think that'd be fair. I kind of wanted us to go back and forth. But there were points that I was making there that I really wanted to explain further. And so I thought, well, let me go back and show you my preparation for that talk. And that's what this series is. And so this is part 2. Let's take a little bit of a look at some of that talk, just very little, some of that talk that I had with Dr. Alan Davis. You could obviously see the whole video if you want. It's called Respectful Riffs. So that's the video, Respectful Riffs, Exploring Points of Difference with Dr. Alan Davis. So I'm just going to go to about 5:15, around there. So this is the video. Respectful Riffs, Exploring Points of Difference with Dr. Alan Davis, and I could put a link for all of the videos referenced in this video. Okay. Just starting generally in terms of the investigative judgment, in Daniel chapter 7.
Can I stop you really quickly? Just to tee this up, have you, or maybe the viewers, have you actually watched my 3-part series on the investigative judgment?
I did watch it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
that helps. That helps.
Yeah. And so that gets into some of the specifics, I think, on the 70-week prophecy and this type of thing. And
Sure.
yeah, we can get into that. I'm not sure how much time you have, but I have. Okay, so continuing where I left off last time. Part 2, the investigation. Why and who? Romans 3 verse 4, certainly not, indeed. Let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that you, referring to God, may be justified in your words and may overcome when you are judged. So God is being judged. Again, that's why I wanted to present my series on the gospel in shadow and substance before going back into this one, to really get into what that means. And so you could have that in mind as well, and the information shared in that series while looking at this. Or if you didn't look at that, you can go back and take a look at those videos. And that can be a blessing to you further. Romans 2:16, in the day when God will judge, krino, the secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. It's also used in Romans 3:4. Krino is used of bringing to trial, the trying of fact, in a court of law. 1 Corinthians 4 and verse 4, for I know of nothing against myself, yet I am not justified by this, but he who judges, anakrino, me is the Lord. And this is from ana, up, completing a process which intensifies, krino, to select by separating, judging, definition, to examine, investigate. I examine, inquire into, investigate, question. So we have this judgment, investigation language used in the Bible. We see in Psalm 26 verse 2, examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my mind and my heart. And so once again, from Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, examine, prove, tempt, try, trial. a primitive root to test, especially metals, generally and figuratively to investigate, to examine, to prove, to tempt, to try. What are the heavenly witnesses beholding? Who is covered by the blood? Again, I went into this in my presentation in the Gospel of Shadow and Substance, talking about the Day of Atonement when the blood was sprinkled on the lid of the ark and how that signified and pointed to the investigative heavenly court judgment where those angelic beings are really having an understanding, and it is being revealed to them who is covered by the blood of Christ and why. Okay? So that was really to explain in more detail some of the points I'm touching on in this series. But what I wanted to show you here is just the preparation I did in preparing to talk and to help to really explain the Adventist position to those who might not fully understand it, and also to really address some of the challenges that Dr. Alan Davis was making and challenging, and how he was challenging Adventism. And so I think what it is that people don't really understand what the investigative judgment means, because if they did, they wouldn't see it as contradicting the work of Christ. They would see it as all being the work of Christ. They wouldn't see it as something that should cause a person to really doubt the salvation they have received in Christ. It also doesn't point to our own work and our own effort and the idea of us saving ourselves in our own power or vindicating God in our own power. It doesn't point to that. Witnesses establish a matter in court. So in Deuteronomy 17:6, we see, whoever is deserving of death shall be put to death on the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. He shall not be put to death on the testimony of 1 witness. And Deuteronomy 19:15, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses the matter shall be established. And Matthew 26:60, 2 false witnesses came forward. So they kind of perverted that process. And Luke 24:4, 2 men, angels at the tomb. So we see this concept of 2 witnesses. And so we see on the lid of the ark the 2 heavenly court witnesses. So the Day of Atonement is pointing to this heavenly investigation with these heavenly court witnesses being symbolized and signified by the cherubim on the lid of the ark looking downward. And so there is this image of a revealing who is covered by the blood. The blood is sprinkled on the lid of the ark.